Today on CityCast Philly. This week, hip-hop turns 50. Even though the Bronx birthed this style of music, Philly's also produced some legendary artists. But that's not all we've done. Our city has deep connections with R&B hitmakers and a thriving punk scene. Today, I'm speaking with two people who promote music in the city about what genre or genres best represent Philly's sound. And we've included some opinions from our Hey Philly newsletter readers. It's Thursday, August 10th. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Evon Burton, creative director of the Anderson Street Project, which is Philly's social media for all things R&B. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And also joining us is Dave Kiss, talent buyer of Dave Kiss Presents. Hey, Dave.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So you're also a music booker for the venue Kung Fu Necktie down in Fishtown and also at Silk City on Spring Garden, right?
And Warehouse on Watts.
And Warehouse on Watts, which is right off of Girard in North Philly.
You got it.
So we asked our Hey Philly newsletter readers this prompt. What artist or genres defines Philly sound? And here's what one reader said. This is from Melissa B. She wrote, "We are a city of beautifully diverse music, but the sound of Philadelphia, Gamble and Huff, and Tom Bell, Philly soul define Philly like no other genre. The funk, the grit, the harmony, the edge, the gospel, the message, it's the soundtrack of Philly." So we've got a lot of votes for, the classic 60s and 70s R&B, Motown. What are y'all thoughts on that genre of music?
Well, I'm a fan. Listen, I am a lover of Philly soul, but I think that there are two big eras of Philly soul. There is the Gamble and Huff of the 60s and 70s, that big orchestral sound that was that four on the floor, that birthed disco. I think, we always forget that was born out of the Philly sound. But, we also want to recall and remember the neo soul era that birthed, in a way, Erykah Badu, who recorded here with the Roots themselves, Jill Scott, Glenn Lewis, who recorded here. We had two huge eras of R&B and soul music that came from Philadelphia, and I do think that both do represent the Philly sound.
Oh, for sure. Especially on the national stage, because over in Detroit you had that Motown sound, and then that was that side of the country's take of this of soul, and it's and Philly had its own touch to it, you know.
And this is also the era, too, where, Evan, like you mentioned, that orchestral sound, there was live instruments. Yeah, you had to play the trumpet, you had to play the piano, and if you played the violin and the saxophone, all types of live instruments really made those sounds sound so warm and soulful, I feel like.
Oh, for sure.
Were there any songs, Evan, for you that define those periods? Maybe you want to talk about, that Gamble and Huff time, or do you want to talk about that Jill Scott, Erykah Badu time?
Oh my God! Choosing a song is like choosing a child. I don't know if you can. I mean,
don't have a favorite, right?
There's so many. The one that comes to mind, the Billy Paul song. All of those great OJ's cut, Backstabbers and
and there's all the Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes tracks.
Absolutely.
And what's cool about that is that's music that was so influential, and it leaked into hip hop.
Yes.
There's so many samples have come from those tracks. So it's just to say that Philly soul, it definitely defines a specific era of Philadelphia, and it reached into the future.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And, speaking of hip hop, this year marks the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So here's another thought from our reader, Teresa M., who says she thinks that Meek Mill, The Roots, Cassidy, Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff, Schoolie D, Tough Crew, and Eve are some of the defining voices of Philly hip hop. Now, hip hop is a huge category, such as R&B. What do you make of those different types of artists that Teresa mentioned?
Well, for me, when we think about hip hop, I think hip hop has as many subgenres as any other genre. So I would actually say that the sound of Philly hip hop would actually be the battle rappers.
Yes. And that's where Meek Mill came from. Yeah.
Right. And like O'Malley and all of them who were very popular on World Star Hip Hop, if that's still around, and all of the DVDs. I think that to me is what signifies Philadelphia's hip hop scene. But of course, you can't ignore, as we mentioned, like the Roots and Black Thought earlier, and the first wave of hip hop from Will Smith and whatnot. But for me, I gotta uplift like the battle rappers who are still rocking the mic to this day.
For sure. So basically, those were the top genres that we got from our readers. But I mean, there's so many other artists and types of music that I feel like people miss. So what other genres of music did our readers miss? Dave, can you kind of give us some education? School us here, Dave.
Hey, what's really cool is, there's been a pretty big punk scene in Philly for years. And there was the Blue Horizon, which is just north of like Broad and Girard, which was a boxing arena. And then they used to do punk shows in there. I know people that went to see the Dead Kennedys there.
That. Yeah.
They went to see the Dead Kennedys there, and they still talk about it. And the West Philly punk scene is still pretty strong. But the Philly punk scene has been around for years. And it was, like I said, the Blue Horizon, and there was a West Philly scene. And then during the 90s, it was really strong on South Street. And I feel like now it's kind of relocated back to West Philly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's definitely an element of that to the city's music scene.
Now, you did mention venues, and without the venues, there would be no performances, no music. So what are some of your favorite music venues in Philly right now? And both of y'all can answer.
I mean, Union Transfer is one of the best venues in the world. Like they when they made that place, they thought of everything. Whether it was the bus parking, if what an artist needs, a shower, they need to do laundry. They make it easy.
You could do laundry there?
Imagine if you're on like a 6-week tour and you got dirty drawers. Like you
That's true. I would say just buy some new ones.
You take a shower and put some respect on yourself. So
yeah, wash up.
But I miss the Trocadero. I have so many good memories going there. In high school, the emo scene was pretty strong, the emo punk scene, and a lot of bands that I liked played there, and I saw there. So that was always cool.
What was your favorite concert? When I asked Evan or Dave anything about favorite, they're looking at me like, Trenae, I cannot do that.
Well, Evan nailed it. Where it's like children. You're like, I don't know.
Right.
If I had kids, I'd love them all the same.
Okay, some of your memorable experiences.
Ooh, that's hard too.
That is hard. I remember one time I was talking jive on a message board for this band that I like. They were called Miracle of '86, and I was like, you guys are cool and all, but you'll never come to Philly, blah, blah, blah. And I was like talking all this jive. And then they hit me back and they're like, yeah, we're coming. We're playing the First Unitarian Church. And I was like, I was a freshman in high school, and I was like, shit, I got no one to go with. And I remember I like lied to my mom. I was like, yeah, I'm meeting all my friends there, Mom. We're all going to this show. And I went there by myself, and I got to see this band that I really liked, that I was like, I challenged to come to Philadelphia, and they came.
Exactly. Look at you influencing bands.
Yeah, that was a memorable one. I mean, there's so many memorable shows that I have. I mean, Trocadero, Giorgio Moroder. That was like the that was a very special night and wonderful.
Dave, I don't know if you remember, because I couldn't make that Giorgio Moroder show, and I was so mad at you for not telling me until, I think you told me until the last minute. Because listen, I love Giorgio Moroder. I love disco. Oh my God, like I'm a huge Donna Summer fan, so just seeing that genius on stage would have made my life. And he didn't tell me.
No, I told you, like, eventually I told you.
Right.
That's funny. Evan, what about you? What are some of your favorite music venues in the city?
Oh my gosh. I think we've all had memorable moments at the TLA, so that would be one.
And that's right on South Street.
Right on South Street. I've had some memorable moments at Johnny Brenda's. I've also been frequenting the Met a lot this year. So, I would say the Met right on Broad Street would be a number 3. But yeah, I would say in terms of like memories, I would say the most memorable show I went to was it was a benefit concert for Jeff Bradshaw. For those who don't know, Jeff Bradshaw is a legendary trombonist from Philadelphia. He's played for everyone, still touring the world. And when he got ill, the entire Philadelphia music community came out to show support. So everyone from Jill Scott and then some internationally known or nationally known artists such as like Angela Blessed, Anthony David, Bilal, Robert Glasper, they all came to perform, and I believe for free for this man, and all and the funds went to him and his care. So I got a selfie with Jill Scott that night. And I ran into her like 3 months later. She's like, "Oh, I remember you," and I literally fainted.
Oh my God, right?
But yeah, Philly has a dope artists. And also I just want to mention when we talk about genres, and as Dave mentioned, disco with Giorgio Moroder, I think that we have to uplift like the house community as well, the house music community from like the Jersey and Baltimore club music that has...
Of course, that brought out the Wu-Tang and we did back in '06. Oh, now I'm dating myself.
And then also, the things that happen, listen, I know Warehouse on Watts as 923. So, all the dances and all that stuff that used to happen back in the day. But then also we want to uplift like Rich Medina and Matthew Law, the DJs who still spin and are legendary in their own right, who plays house music from Philly. So
yeah, shout them out. Okay, Evan and Dave, are there any current Philly artists or music styles we should keep our eye out for, we should keep promoting?
Well, I'll start by my girl Queen Jo, who combines
she's the best.
Yeah. When we talked about the genres that she's a part of earlier, the dance music, the house music, and then also hip hop on top of it, she merges all 3 of those genres beautifully. And then there's also, I had to shout out my homegirl, Lauren Talese, who's here in Philadelphia, a jazz artist, also living in my neighborhood in El Erie. Gotta uplift her too. That's my girl, and her music is so good.
I also want to shout out now that you said that, we gotta definitely shout out the jazz scene, the Philadelphia Clef Club.
We have Time,
and even WRTI.
Right? Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have Time now, which I love going down there and seeing the performers play when they open the big window and the doors, and you can hear the music right on Sampson Street. So yeah, we definitely got to shout out jazz. But for you, Dave, any current artists?
Oh, there's 2, I'd say. There's Suzanne Shear is doing some cool stuff. I think she's pretty cool.
What genre does she represent?
Some of her stuff is like singer-songwriter stuff. But I think lately she's been kind of pushing it more in like the dancier vibe. And I keep telling her, I'm like, sad girl stuff, I understand it, means something to you, but like, this dancier stuff, this is where I think you'll find your niche. And then the other one is he's like a comedian, he's like a personality. His name's Jimmy Brown, and he just, it's like a comedy act, but his content that he makes for social media is just constantly making me laugh, and it's like a different, and he's on another level, because he uses like AI to make content, and it's really clever stuff that he does.
Interesting.
Yeah, another dude he's from Philly too, which is pretty tight.
Okay, so basically we have no answer of what is Philadelphia sound.
No, the answer is that it's all of it, right? I mean,
It's all of it.
And it's like ever evolving. Like 'cause it's like every, you look at the 50s, the 60s, 70s, you could say it's Philly soul. And then you get to the 80s, to me, it's punk. Or you could say it's even yacht rock with the Hall & Oates, with the Hall & Oates crew. And then the 2000s, I think that's when the battle rap, the Vodkas, the Meek Mill, and that kind of stuff kind of, and the Roots, that's where that kind of like legged up. But like right now, see, it's tough to be in the moment, in the present, and say, this is the sound.
Yes.
Especially when there's so many different like shows and parties that pop off and bring out a good crowd. And the one thing that I could really say is that, Philly shows out. And that's what makes it really difficult to say what to put your finger on and be like, that's the music that defines right now in Philadelphia. It's really tough because it's kind of a little bit of everything right now in the middle of it,
Well, all I can say is that we should all go to all of the venues and support all of the music and all the artists out there. So shout out to everyone making music. I want our listeners to get into the conversation as well. For you, who and what defines Philly sound for you? You can send us an email at philly@citycast.fm. Evan and Dave, thank you both so much for breaking this all down with me on CityCast Philly.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you. It was fun.
Stay connected with Evan and Dave by checking out their links in our show notes. Hey y'all, a quick heads up. CityCast Philly is turning 1. So we're hosting a live podcast taping and mixer to celebrate. It'll be after work at the Indie Hall Co-working Clubhouse on Wednesday, August 30th. We'd love to see you there. To RSVP for this event, click the link in our show notes. And here's what else Philly's talking about. The city is set to change all of its streetlights. The Philadelphia Inquirer reports 130,000 lights will be replaced with energy-efficient bulbs over the next 2 years. This is all an effort to cut down on the city's electricity use and brighten streets in high-crime neighborhoods. And next week, Temple University is launching a new safety app for students. Philly Voice reports TU Safe will feature a one-touch panic button that has a chat function so students can connect with police quickly in an emergency. Users can report crimes and request someone to walk home with them. The app is expected to roll out on Monday, August 14th. Check out the Hey Philly newsletter for more Philly news. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If you enjoyed this episode about Philly's music scene, why not tell a friend? Rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter too. It's called Hey Philly. We'll be back tomorrow morning with the Friday News Roundup. Bye.